There's a $2 scoop of powder sitting in farm stores right now that greens your lawn just as dark as the $60 bag at the garden center. And almost nobody buying the expensive one knows it exists. Your grass can't read a label. It doesn't know what brand fed it. It responds to one thing. And that thing costs almost nothing under the name farmers use, instead of the garden center name. Here's what you're walking away with today. The one powder that greens a lawn nearly as dark as any premium product for a fraction of the price, the exact rate, the one step deciding whether it feeds your grass or scorches it brown by afternoon, and the most popular homemade lawn trick online, the one half your neighbors swear by, that does nothing for most lawns, proven with the chemistry. Grass wants nitrogen. That's the whole secret the premium bag is built around. Of the 3 numbers on every fertilizer bag, nitrogen drives green and growth, phosphorus feeds roots and seed, potassium handles stress and disease, but the color you're paying for is mostly nitrogen. So the only real question is, what's the cheapest way to get nitrogen onto the ground? The answer's been sitting in farm stores the whole time. Ammonium sulfate. The bag reads 21, 0, 0, 21% nitrogen, with a bonus 24% sulfur riding along. A 50-pound bag runs around $26 at a farm store and covers 10,000 square feet, roughly $2 per 1,000, while a premium branded bag costs 15 to 20 or more for the same patch. The core nitrogen source is essentially the same. So what's the extra money buying? Fair question, and the honest answer isn't a scam, it's a coating. Premium bags use slow-release nitrogen, granules wrapped in a polymer or sulfur shell that dissolves gradually so feeding spreads over 6 to 8 weeks instead of all at once. Real convenience. You can be careless and still not burn your lawn. You're paying for forgiveness. Ammonium sulfate is quick release, raw and fast, greens hard within days, and asks one thing in return for the savings. Follow a single rule when you put it down. Skip it and the cheap bag punishes you. Follow it and your lawn's fed for $2 with the rest pocketed. Before that rule, let me address a myth that's spread pretty wide online. Epsom salt. Plenty of homemade lawn recipes online tell you to dissolve it in a sprayer and soak your lawn for a deep green. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, and here's the chemistry the recipe usually leaves out. Magnesium only greens a lawn that's actually deficient in magnesium, and most lawns aren't. University extension researchers across the country have tested this. Most soil already has enough magnesium, so more does little for the color. And excess magnesium can interfere with the calcium your grass needs. The trick feels scientific because it's a powder in a sprayer, but for most lawns, it's addressing a deficiency that isn't there. Save it for sore feet. Now, the rule that makes the cheap powder work. Water it in immediately. Ammonium sulfate carries a high salt index, 69 on that scale, high enough that if you spread it on a dry lawn and walk away, the granules can pull moisture out of the grass blades and leave brown burn streaks within a day, the entire reason people fear cheap nitrogen. Spread it. Then within the hour, water it in deep. A good soaking that carries the granules into the soil where roots can take it up. Do that and burn risk drops sharply. Skip it on a hot afternoon, and you'll see why the premium bag sells forgiveness. The rate is half a pound per 100 square feet, about 5 pounds across 1,000. Spread evenly with a cheap handheld spreader, since ammonium sulfate greens so fast that any uneven pass can show as a dark stripe a week later. Apply it once in early summer and again in late summer, and your lawn will look just as fed as if it came from a $60 bag. That sulfur in the bag, the 24% nobody talks about, is quietly doing a second job for free. It gradually lowers soil pH. Many struggling lawns, especially in hard water regions, sit slightly too alkaline, meaning grass struggles to absorb the iron that drives deep color no matter how much you feed it, and the sulfur nudges that pH down over a season, helping unlock iron already in your soil, so the cheap powder can fix a problem. The premium bag charges extra to solve with added iron, all from the same $2 scoop. One more thing, basically free. Stir a cup of plain blackstrap molasses into the soaking water. Not for the grass, for what's living underneath it. Molasses sugar is pure carbon, food for soil bacteria that help break nitrogen down into the form roots can drink, a well-fed microbe population. Cycles nitrogen faster and helps hold it in the soil instead of letting it wash away in rain. This works best when those microbes are already present, true of most established lawns. It won't replace the nitrogen, it just helps what you paid for go further, and a jug lasts a whole season for a few dollars. That's the whole system. Ammonium sulfate for the nitrogen and the green, watered in hard so it feeds instead of burns. Sulfur helping correct your pH, and a splash of molasses feeding the soil that feeds the grass. One of the deepest lawns on the street, fed for the price of a coffee, while the bag promising the same thing sits on the shelf, asking many times more for a coating most lawns don't strictly need. Send this to the neighbor who hauls home that heavy bag every spring, and I'll see you in the next one.